All right, so here's a question I get asked all the time, and here's another variation of it from Quora. What do the R in a circle and TM symbols beside logos mean? My name is Andrei Minka. I'm the founder of Trademark Factory, and here's my answer to this question. An R in a circle beside a logo can mean one of the three things. It can mean that the logo is registered as a trademark and the owner has a registered trademark in the same country where the logo is displayed, is placed on a product or displayed otherwise when they're rendering a service to you, right? So the first option is they own a registered trademark in the country where you see that logo. The second option is they have a registered trademark but in a different country. They don't have a registered trademark in the country where you're seeing the logo. They don't have a registered trademark in the country where they're selling the goods, but they have it somewhere else. So they're just using the design that is true in some other country, but it's not really true in this country. That can actually get them in trouble in this country. So for example, if you have a Canadian trademark and you have an R in a circle and you're starting to sell your products in the US, and let's say you don't have a registered trademark in the US, that act of selling products that bear an R in a circle mark next to them, if you don't have a registered trademark in the US, that can kill your chances of registering your trademark in the US in the future. So be very careful with that. And the third possibility with an R in a circle beside a logo is they don't have anything. They don't have a registered trademark anywhere. They're just misleading the public into believing that they do own a trademark, and that can be considered fraud, and which is another reason why USPTO, for example, may essentially blacklist you for that brand and say you try to defraud people into believing that you own a trademark. Now you want to get a real one, we're not going to give it to you. It's kind of extreme. Few countries have that, but many countries have consequences for brand owners who place an R in a circle symbol next to a brand that's not registered there as a trademark. But it's a possibility, right? So when you see an R in a circle, can mean three things. It's duly registered as a trademark in that jurisdiction, it's duly registered as a trademark somewhere else but not in this jurisdiction, and it's not registered anywhere. Now with TM symbol, it's even more interesting because it can mean a lot of things. First, it can mean that it's unregistered trademark and the owner wishes the world to think that they own this mark, or they think it's their mark and they wish the world to agree with that, right? It's what's called a common law trademark, when they claim that by having used this mark in commerce for a certain time, they own the brand, or they want to make a claim to the world that they came up with that and they want the world to agree. Most countries do not recognize unregistered trademarks, but some countries, US, Canada, UK, Australia, Israel, they do recognize unregistered trademarks, and so there placing the TM symbol may mean something different from, let's say, France or Russia or China that do not recognize unregistered trademarks at all. So with that in mind, first option is they have an unregistered trademark that they want the world to think that they own. The second possibility is they just place a TM next to everything. They don't expect the world to do anything about it. They just hope that by placing a TM symbol next to it, they will be perceived as more important, right? So sometimes you see that a lot. Somebody comes up with, usually I see this all the time in some teachers and training materials like info products. They would put a TM pretty much next to everything, right? Not just the name of the program, which is perfectly legitimate candidate for being trademarked, but even little steps in that program, they would put TM next to them, and sub steps, they're all TMs in their mind, and they're completely unenforceable in most cases, but they want to look and be perceived as having something special. Now, the other possibility is actually they have a registered trademark, and let's say they got a registered trademark in the other jurisdiction, right? So if they've got a registered trademark, let's say in Canada, and they're selling the product in the US, it's okay to put a TM because in the US you don't have a registered trademark. Or sometimes you may even have a registered trademark and you just don't bother to replace it with an R in a circle because either you don't want to reprint your materials, or because you don't want to run into the situation when your brand is registered as a trademark in some countries and is not registered in some other countries. So for example, Google has been doing this for a long time, right? Because they knew that in some countries it's protected, in some countries it was pending, and they're like, okay, we're just going to have a TM and that's it. And that kind of gives you the idea that both TM and R in a circle can mean a lot of things. In theory, R in a circle means a registered trademark, TM means a non-registered trademark, but there's a whole spectrum of things that it can actually mean, and it's your responsibility to check. Actually, one other thing that could be, you could have an R in a circle next to a trademark that was once registered and they forgot to renew it. It's no longer registered, it's now dead, it's canceled or expunged, but they still have an R in a circle, so that's another possibility. So the moral of the story is, when you see somebody else's logo with either a TM symbol or a R in a circle or nothing really next to it, and you're wondering if it's a brand that you can own or the brand that you can use, or what's the story behind it, what you want to do is have a trademark search done to see who owns it. And if you can easily find it, great. They'll probably tell you all the information that you need. And if you can't, maybe a good idea for you to have somebody who does trademarking for a living to do a comprehensive trademark search for you, and they'll be able to tell you exactly whether or not anybody in that jurisdiction owns that brand as their trademark. I hope this answers your question. If it does, great. Make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that bell button, and make sure that if you have a question for me that you would like me to answer in a video like this, post a comment below and your wish may just come true. And until then, I will see you in the next video.